Disgraced Congressman George Santos, who's been expelled from Congress for being a fraudster, for being a liar, for being a cheat. He's now like trying to launch a podcasting career. So he's doing collabs with people you would never expect him to. But this time around, bro, this collab just absolutely backfired on him. Bro, he got humiliated. He got destroyed. And as far as I'm concerned, bro, like this media career is damn near over after this interview. Now, if you guys don't know who George Santos is, let me remind you guys of all the lies George Santos told.
Socialist country. Not if I have anything to say about it. I've seen how socialism destroys people's lives because my grandparents survived the Holocaust.
I happened to, at the time, have people that worked for me in the club. My company at the time, we lost 4 employees that were at Pulse nightclubs.
Remember what Santos' campaign website said, that his mom was in the South Tower of the World Trade Center in her office when the horrific events of that day, September 11th, happened.
Again, I never said my mother died on 9/11. I never said that. That was never said.
My heritage is Jewish. I've always identified as Jewish. I was raised a practicing Catholic. I've always joked with friends and circles, even in the campaign, I'd say, guys, I'm Jewish. Remember, I was raised Catholic.
If you're familiar, you're familiar. This dude is just disgraceful, disgusting. One of the most horrific people I feel like mankind has ever had the unfortunate experience of knowing. This man even stole money from a veteran who lost his dog.
Now some new developments in the George Santos saga. A New Jersey veteran says that the congressman organized a fundraiser for his dying service dog back in 2016, only to pocket the money himself.
He shared a story with CBS 2's Christina Fan.
When 47-year-old Rich Ostoff first approached George Santos in 2016, the New Jersey veteran was disabled, homeless, and desperate for help. His service dog, Sapphire, had developed a life-threatening cyst that required immediate surgery.
That dog saved my life more than twice. She knew when my moods were changing. She knew when I was depressed. She knew when I was going manic. She would wake me up when I was having nightmares.
A veterinary tech recommended Santos, who at the time went by the name Anthony DeVolder and claimed to run a charity called Friends of Pets United. Santos created this GoFundMe, writing, when a veteran reaches out to ask for help, how can you say no? In 2 months, the campaign raised the necessary $3,000.
I wanted to go back to the vet. He wouldn't let me have the money to go to the veterinarian. I had to go through his veterinarian, through all of his services. And that was when I started realizing that it was starting to become very, very difficult to deal with this guy.
Text messages show the two arguing back and forth, with Santos writing the vet couldn't operate because it's very invasive. Michael Ball, a veterans advocate, said he tried to mediate, but Santos refused to give up the money and then disappeared.
Truly true. One of the spawns of Satan's, man. Do you understand how despicable of a human being you have to be, bruh? To take $3,000 for yourself as somebody who was doing pretty well for themselves. You just took the $3,000 just because you didn't really need it. And that $3,000 could have gone to save the dog of a veteran, a man who put his life at risk for the country. Yo, you're just terrible, bro. Common sense will tell you the last person podcast you should be going on for any type of interview is this kid's, Matan Ivan. All right, especially when you have that level of scandal, that level of skeleton in your closet. But he couldn't resist the clout. He couldn't resist the 1 million subscribers on YouTube, the 1.2 million followers on TikTok. And because he has a struggling podcast that he's trying to get off the ground, he decided that he was going to take all the lashing, take the humiliation ritual, and go on this kid's podcast to get berated. And that's exactly what happened.
Is this better?
That's better, yeah. Thanks for moving.
Okay.
Do you want to move to the next question? You gave me a decent answer there.
Of course, yeah, go ahead.
What's the point of lying about nonsensical that won't help you at all? You, a very obvious Brazilian man, try to convince the public that you that your grandparents were Jewish and Ukrainian who survived the Holocaust? How do you even come up with these?
Are you a genealogist?
What does that mean?
I'm asking, you're a genealogist? Do you study genealogy?
No, but I think people who did probably know that you're not Ukrainian and Jewish.
Okay. Is that what you believe?
I mean, you asking me if I'm an expert on it would
no,
just
no,
be stupid. That's like asking me if I'm a mathematician to prove 2 + 2 is 4.
Oh, you don't understand how ethnicity works. Okay.
This man has a sickness. He is a literal mental patient, bruh. You already got caught up in your lie. You already been exposed by every news publication there is. They got you in a concrete, tied up, use a froster. So now he's in this interview and he just added more to his humiliation, bruh. Instead of just owning up to it, yeah, I did some dumb stuff, I was wrong, this man begins to extend the lie out. Even though we heard him say in 4K his grandparents survived the Holocaust, this man's new excuse now is, you don't know how genealogy works? Oh, I took a 23andMe. So he's now saying he took a 23andMe and a 23andMe said he's Jewish, and that's how he knew he was Jewish. Even though clearly, bruh, this man is a Hispanic fella. George Santos don't really scream Jewish, bruh. It screams a Dominican from the Bronx.
Are you Jewish or no?
No.
Oh, okay. So
I'm ethnically Jewish, Catholic, religiously Catholic.
So you're Jewish then, like biologically, you're saying?
By percentage, yes.
Okay.
Unless 23andMe lied to me, and that's fine.
Or unless you're just lying about that test, which seems way more likely.
You could look at the test.
Why are you implying it can't be doctored?
Oh, how would I doctor my spit?
It's not.
Do you want to spit in the vial for me?
Not for you, maybe.
Shit.
I also don't want to give those guys my DNA.
Why not? They're so trustworthy. They're unamendable to leaks and breaches. Are you kidding to me?
Yeah,
China
but
has no hands.
Going back to the thing for a second, I mean, you could have just posted a fake image. You could have had a guy create a screenshot.
I shared it with the press, the actual whole thing.
What did you share? The screenshot?
No. The process. It was like a whole documented process for a document.
Like of you spitting in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this could still be faked.
Opening it, spitting, giving it to a third party, sending it.
Yeah, but
I mean, this is just so much for just a simple question. Do you have interesting questions?
That's an interesting thing.
No, it's not. It's boring.
I didn't think you were lying about that, but now I do because you're making it sound so phony.
Okay, so let me.
You're like Hulk Hogan.
Oh my.
The fact that this dude was able to run for office and get elected is more of an indictment on the system that we have in this country, more so than it is on him, bro. This dude is clearly sick. Even if the 23andMe was legit, which I doubt because this dude is pathological. Yo, Miley Cyrus coming out and telling people, I'm black. My grandparents are black. And then when she gets caught because her grandparents are white, she takes the 23andMe and she finds out she's 5% African. Says, I told you I was black. I never said I... Come on, bro. Like, bro, you are disgusting, man. It's the confidence that impresses me. Dude is able to look you in your eyes, tell you a bold-faced lie, and look at you as if you crazy if you question him. This entire situation becomes even more psychotic when you consider that they reached out to the kid for an interview. They reached out to him. They wrote him. They asked him if he wanted to have George Santos on. So they did their research, found out this kid's style of interview, found out how these interviews usually go, and thought, let me put myself in the line of fire because I want some social media clout. This is sickening. Now, he was also pressed about the dog thing, per usual. Sat there, lied, lied with a bold face.
No, don't touch.
Can I have it?
No, give me my glasses.
No, it's okay.
Please give me my glasses.
I wanted to steal it, like you stole the money from that guy with the dog.
I stole no money from a person with a dog. Put my glasses back.
You killed his dog.
I did not steal money.
I will put your glasses back because I don't know what will be the consequences of physically stealing from a former politician who's going to jail.
Okay.
But
all right,
you killed that guy's dog and you know it.
Yeah, I did, sure.
Do you want to respond to that?
No, I refuse to.
Why? That one's just too crazy that you stole from a sick dog?
It's just
you don't even want to entertain it?
It's just not true.
Was the guy just a liar?
Did you ever watch a single one of my interviews?
I watched some, yeah.
Oh, okay. Very, very repetitive. No new material.
Well,
You
no,
couldn't
I
come up
want
with something more creative.
I think I think
saw
you're
your
overestimating
work.
how well known you might be to my audience.
saw your
so I want to go
work.
over your legendary moments.
Dude's very crafty, but he wasn't prepared for Matan Evan also being very crafty and like very slick and sly as well. Because he pretty much figured out that if he acts super bored and act like nonchalant and act like he's not interested, that the whiff or the power of the question will go away. But it doesn't. All that happens is he just looks like an absolute slime ball, looks like a slickster that's trying to avoid questions. Like when he was confronted about the first thing, which is lying about being Jewish. Oh, this is a boring question. You got anything next? And then when he's asked about stealing money from a veteran that led to a sick dog not getting the help it needed and ultimately dying, this is boring. Got anything else next? So his strategy is act super bored and hopefully, Matan move on or, the question loses its power. But the opposite happens. He just comes across looking more like a slime ball. This dude, I realized that this dude was a pathological and super sick when in the interview, he even, admits to being a liar and even explains why him lying is actually a good thing. So on one hand, he goes from denying everything, right? Denying that he ever lied about anything. And then on the other hand, he admits that he's a liar, but him lying is actually a good thing. Him lying is actually beneficial for society. And if you think I'm kidding, here's him explaining why him lying is actually a good thing.
When people say you're supposed to lie as a politician, they don't mean lying about every arbitrary aspect of your life.
I rather lie about arbitrary, nonsensical that doesn't hurt people than lie to people at the expense of people's livelihoods.
About the expense of people's livelihoods?
Well, how about let's put it this way. Every time a politician in D.C. is lying to you, they're costing you lives, they're costing you money, they're costing you inflation, they're costing you all the other bullshit that lines their pockets, and don't interrupt me when I'm speaking. That lines their pockets and undermines the American people. So wouldn't you rather somebody who lied about, I don't know, college versus somebody who lies about, we're not going to war?
You admitted it?
And I did, a long time. I did 2 days afterwards. No, I'm not shaking your hand.
He says that with a straight face as if he's saying something that makes sense or something that's profound or a good excuse when it's not. And the worst part about this is he has had a few months now to really come up with an excuse for almost every accusation. And he still goes on these podcasts and bomb and looks like a fool. Listen, bro, you lying to the members of your community about your qualifications is very damaging, right? You know why? Because if they're voting for you because they believe you're qualified for the job when you're not qualified, when you're not somebody who should ever be in office, when you're somebody who was underqualified, who wasn't ready to be a congressman, and you get in office and you misrepresent them, right? And you make mistakes. These people thought they were voting for somebody who was overqualified, who was overeducated, when in fact you wasn't. So yeah, that's damaging. That's worse. All right. And that's horrible. Now, the fact that this dude is a career fraudster shouldn't be no surprise. But I thought maybe he just told lies to get in office, just told lies, to win an election. But no, bro, this dude is a fraudster in almost everything he does in life. So he just got on YouTube. He's doing the podcast thing. And Matan would obviously spot something that was very slick, that was very pathetic. So Matan will confront him about botting and buying likes and views for his podcast, which to me makes no sense because buying views does nothing for your YouTube career.
No, I don't.
Everything in your life is small.
Oh, I found it.
Okay.
You recently started
it's a big question.
You recently started a podcast. I'm breaking some new information here. I don't know if anybody's reported on this.
Yeah, let's go.
You recently started a podcast that's doing so bad, you or someone on your team started buying likes on it. Did you know that'll only hurt the videos more?
I'm not aware. I don't buy likes.
I said I didn't want to put you specifically, so you or someone on your team.
Nobody, from my understanding, is buying likes on the podcast.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
One of the videos I saw that 10,000 views, 5,000 likes, 2 comments. One of them was you, and then
me,
or maybe it was a guy pretending to be you, and then one guy said, "Why isn't he in jail?" That doesn't make sense for 5,000 likes. Also, 1 like every 2 views is just that doesn't happen ever.
Okay, so which episode was it?
I think it might have been your most popular one, or one of your most popular ones.
So if you have one episode take off and it does uncharacteristically better than others,
it's not doing uncharacteristically better.
Better than compared to others.
Nobody gets 1 like every 2 views.
Okay, so
who are they buying likes or likes and views?
No.
They forgot to buy the comments?
No. I just love how you you're a fan.
You are a fan. Being his only response shows me all I need to know, that he was the one who purchased those likes, bruh. Because if you go to the video Matan is talking about, it shows here he got 14,000 views, which the views probably got enhanced after their interview, and 5.1K likes. This don't make sense. At all, bruh. At all. I'm talking about, bruh, at most, you probably should, 1,000 likes with 14,000 views is like outrageously good. Now look, the comments are now at 99 comments because, well, after their interview went viral, people came back to actually comment. But yo, this is clearly botted. This is not even normal at all. The funniest part about this humiliation ritual was George being so butthurt that he wanted revenge on Matan, right? So, he was so butthurt, he got exposed, he got outed, he got humiliated, got embarrassed, for a couple 100,000 people to see. And he couldn't stand it, right? He couldn't just take the L. He couldn't just live with, hey, bro, I did some messed up things in my life, man. It's gonna come up when I do interviews. I'm gonna live with it. No. All right. He invited Matan back on his podcast. That was the agreement. You come on mine, I come on yours. And during the podcast with Matan, George tried to get revenge, right? He tried to expose that Matan has a fake accent, which we all know by now. And he was just super hostile, super aggressive, super mean. There was no comedic factor to this. This was just him having a tantrum.
I like building long-term relationships. Like, I think it's cool what you're doing.
You think it's cool?
No, I think it's cool. I wouldn't do it, but it's not my deal. we're in a different generation.
What part of it is cool? It has nothing to do with generation.
Okay.
It's attention. You draw attention because you're making an ass out of yourself. Yeah. So I know a thing or two about making an ass out of myself to draw attention. You're becoming a mini expert.
But I'm not
But you're bad at it.
I don't think people think of me as a crazy liar.
You're bad.
Pathetic guy.
You're pathetic.
Where's the next place you're going to go in your career?
You're pathetic.
This is very ironic.
No, I will die a congressman. You have a pathetic accent. You have a pathetic
That's true, but you will also die the congressman, the worst one ever.
That's not true. Not even
expelled from Congress.
Remotely true.
You were not expelled?
He thinks he's getting a moment on Matan. He thinks he's dunking on him, but it's not working. He's just looking dumber and dumber and dumber as he tries to press this kid for making him look like a fool. Like, the best way to not look like a fool. Don't do foolish things. Don't be a fool. So when you essentially conducted yourself like a fool, but yet you're embarrassed and mad at him for highlighting how foolish you are, it's on you, bruh. Right? So after he throws a tantrum, after he gets upset, goes on that humiliating rant, he then kicks Matan out, right? So he kicks him out, and then once Matan leaves, they start coping, right? They start coping among themselves, giving themselves high fives and fist bumps, thinking they defeated Matan, right? But talking about him like a big bad evil super villain that they just defeated, even saying that they broke him, which couldn't be further from the truth.